Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy, don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy, don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out, all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy, don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another show, another stream. Of course, you know where you're at. Spartan Institute Network. I am your host, the Spartan, aka Peter. So, how is everybody doing tonight? We have an interesting topic on our hands tonight, and I'm curious how this will play out. But as always, I can't do this by myself. I gotta bring my little assistant. And I mean a little assistant. Of course, I'm talking about my buddy, Little Groot. Groot. Oh. You're not jumping, buddy. I can smell your
You
breath
say
all
that
the way
now.
down here. You know that, right?
You say that now. Ask the people who don't like to walk near me out here in Brooklyn. There you go.
Breath mint. That's all I'm gonna mail you. Breath mints. All right, buddy.
No,
How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm trying not to lose my mind. That's all.
That's hard with you.
Trying not to. When you live in a shitty city called New York City, what will you expect? Let that one sink
What,
in.
David? This is a happy show.
I
It's
know,
not.
I know.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a favorite franchise food?
Oh, this is why I came up for this show, because franchise food, it changed over the many years due to quality,
Agree.
customer service,
Agree.
choice of ingredient,
I also agree.
and on location.
I also agree.
Because I remember back in the day when I started up young, as a little kid, it was McDonald. Until you realize all the ingredients not natural. So that just put an
You know what's
X.
funny about McDonald's, bro? When I don't know if you remember Big Macs when they were Big Macs. Now
I
they're
remember.
mini Macs. They're
I
like
remember.
they're like sliders
It's
now.
not that not because they changed their side, they changed the ingredients over time. And
Actually, they
there's
changed
a
the
lot of
size on them.
the side is one part. How to make their meat patty, how to make their chicken and everything. It have becoming a questionable thing what is how they come about. Until you start to realize you're not eating really chicken, you're eating what they call it ground chicken
Processed,
bone.
yeah, processed chicken.
Processed chicken mixed with chicken bones. A lot of finger point. And let's be real though. If you were someone who grew up back in the early 80s, the food was much safer then than now. It was not McDonald's, the Chinese restaurant. I remember the one out here from Brooklyn, New York, called Kun Kao Kitchen. Been here
Hmm.
since the 60s. Still here to this day. I went to them like a month ago or two. Now it's a surprised they still existent. Italian restaurants. That's another thing that some are still here since the early 50s, 60s. The pizza restaurant, not Ray Pizza. Everyone know about not Ray Pizza? It's iconic. A lot of food restaurants in New York City either remain through the hassle or end up shutting doors due to financial situation or relocate outside the city due to the change of business. Now it's all about finding an authentic place to eat.
So if you remember McDonald's in the 80s, they were Big Macs. They were food. But they also went on a health trend kick, if you remember, in the early 90s, mid 90s, maybe early 2000s a little bit too. I
Hmm.
think it lasted from early 90s all the way to early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. So
That
they
is
went on
correct.
this, I'm sorry,
That is correct.
they went on these health kick on salads, for example, mixed salads. They shrunk the size down. But when they got out of the trend, they still do it. Hey, Mariana, what is going on? I send you a link. If you want to join us, you're welcome. If you don't, that's fine too. You better join us, that means. But they went from Big Macs to Mini Macs. I never understood that.
Hmm.
Like, if you have other franchises, there are a bunch of franchises that are there. Hang on, I don't like that. Let me change that. There we go. All right. Uh, maximize that. All right, that didn't work. Hang on. Uh,
Hmm. Look at the list. Taco
all right,
Bell, Chipotle, Dunkin' Donuts, Pizza Hut, Krispy Kreme, Friday, Papa John, Jack in the Box,
all right,
um, Peak, Wendy's, McDonald's, Sonic, Raleigh,
all right.
KFC.
Well, the view is not the
Wow,
greatest, so I'm work guys work with me
I
for
know.
today. Yeah,
I'm,
I don't
I'm
know
trying to
why.
recognize the symbols. I can
So we
only
have.
recognize about
I'll read it
80%.
off because I have it on my other screen over here. It's Taco Bell, one of my favorites actually. Chipotle, Dunkin'. I don't know why Dunkin's on this list. I'll talk to Paul about it later. Pizza Hut, Krispy Kreme, Friendlies, Papa John, Jack in the Box, Moe's, Wendy's, Subway, McDonald's, Sonic, O'Reilly's, KFC, Burger King, Panda Express, White Castle, Arby's, bleh, Panera Bread, Q. What's up? What'd you say, David?
Panera is,
Dave, what'd you say? I'll get to that
I think
second
Panera,
because
the
Panera's
restaurant, is a
interesting.
little so-so.
Why you don't like the food there?
Continue. You will talk about it.
DQ, Long John Silver's, Five Guys, Starbucks, B, uh, BR, whatever that stands for. Uh, Cluck, not Cluck you. What's fucking call it? Oh shit. The chicken one. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm looking at. I can't pronounce it again. It's in my head.
Chicken. That's not chicken flick.
Chicken flick. Thank you. Domino's, Chili's, Applebee's, and Popeyes. So hang on. Before we move on, let's get my next little friendly Spider Woman. Actually, no, I don't want to call her Spider Woman. I'm gonna call her the Witch Doctor.
No,
I
not a
will.
witch doctor.
Hey, 1 second, Maria. My man, I will be dropping the link literally in 30 seconds. Just keep me posted. The rules are camera on, mic on, so we know who you are. And please keep it clean and appropriate. And here's your link, my man. Hey, Mariana. How is my favorite witch doctor going on?
Yeah. Witch doctor?
It could be worse.
Seriously?
It could be worse.
And he called me little when I'm bigger than him.
Shut up over there, you. Nobody asked your opinion right now. This is her fight, not yours. She's a big girl. She can defend herself.
Obi neck. I'm Little John next.
Eric, what's up, my man? What is your opinion about fast food wars? And guys, here are the rules of the panel. If you'd like to come up, the link is in the chats. I repeat, the link is in the chats. Please follow the rules, or I'm going to have to give you a roundhouse Greek style. All right, Mariana, you're up. What is your thing? Go ahead, talk to me, girl. Yes, fast food. What's your favorite fast food? Come on.
Mine, I will say, to be quite honest, even though it's not around as much, White Castle, Burger King. It's like, it depends, like how you like. I know when I grew up, it was McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC.
Have it your way.
Yep. There's a thing, it doesn't exist anymore. Boston Market, Roy Rogers. I remember Roy Rogers when I was growing up.
No, the last one got shut down. Worldwide got shut down about a year or two ago in somewhere in upper side of Brooklyn near King
So
Plaza.
on this list, we
Hell.
have Dunkin'. I personally don't consider Dunkin' as a fast food joint. I consider it as fast food coffee.
Yeah.
Water coffee. The reason I say water coffee is nobody really buy Dunkin' for the caffeine. People buy it for the flavor. Let's be straight up here, guys.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. If you like a nice sugar drink, a diabetic drink, there you go. I know Alicia's favorite thing is Dunkin' Donuts. I'm surprised she's not on here yet. You're fucking yelling at me right now. So okay, you got your favorites, Marianne. What's your favorite, David?
Ooh. Simple like this. It's hard to say a favorite when you have a unique experience with some of them. For example, McDonald's change of ingredient, it start to act weird towards your body. White Castle, before you can eat it, now if you eat it, it sends you to the bathroom quicker than you think.
Which one is this again? I'm sorry.
Popeyes, White Castle. Out here in Brooklyn, the nickname for White Castle is called Diarrhea
Oh, I
Burger.
agree with that. It's definitely diarrhea burger. They're not actually.
Long John
Here's.
Silver.
Let me say one thing
No,
before you move on. All right, one thing. I'll give you the mic back.
okay.
White Castle is not a burger joint. It's a slider joint. Let's get it straight. Mariana,
Okay.
as a chef, am I wrong or right?
Yeah, it's a slider. That's what it is.
So, White Castle is great when after you're done drinking all night and you're drunk off your ass. It's a perfect thing to go for. Go ahead, David.
Stop that cap. Ladies and gentlemen, White Castle is not perfect for if you work in a nightclub and you know the White Castle is next door, they're going to buy the food, and they start hearing that rumble in the stomach, they go in and destroy it like a natural disaster hit the bathroom. You gotta wear a hazmat suit to clean the damn bathroom.
Oh
No,
shit!
But
thank
if
you.
you think about
So
it,
just stop the.
White Castle been there long before McDonald's and before Burger King.
It did.
White
They've been there
Castle
like
is actually
It did.
one of the few franchises on this list. It's still family run and family operated.
which one?
Damn.
White Castle.
Really?
White Castle.
Five Guys, the second one
Okay.
that I know for facts. Anything else, I don't know who's run by your family or what is corp.
No, McDonald was stolen.
Absolutely, everybody knows that story. It's actually
World Trade
is a
Fund.
movie about that actually out. A very good one.
Highway Ri- Highway Robbery.
Absolutely, I will not disagree on that one bit. So my personal favorite is probably going to be Taco Bell. I love a good Taco Bell. I get smashed like 20 of those tacos plus a Crunch Wrap Supreme any day of the week. Yes, I'm a fat ass.
Crazy. But now we know.
You've
But what's
reached your
weird about
limit
Taco
on
Bell?
talking. Shut the fuck up.
Boom, blazing, middle finger.
Um,
Anyway, shockingly speaking, they say Taco Bell is healthier than Chipotle,
Seriously?
which
I
is
don't know how
ironic.
that's possible.
No, they did a survey of all the healthiest fast food restaurants, and Taco Bell surpassed Chipotle, which, by all means, I don't know how until I've spoken to people who work in Chipotle. They ongoing habit whereby their meat is sometimes heavily salted, meaning you can take the sodium
Mm-hmm.
intake on it. So it's not that good. It's supposed to be healthy,
Mm-hmm.
healthy, but somehow Taco Bell is outdoing them in that department. Should probably be the healthier choice when it's the total
Hmm.
opposite of it. Remember what Paul said when he went down south, and he said sometimes you can. That story right there. I'm sorry, that will be the most viral story ever. To
See, they
see
don't
powder
in the
on your
South. They
food.
don't marinate it with salt. They don't. Let's be honest here. They bathe it in salt. Sim-
I won't call it baited. There's ceremony in the sort. Like, you know, it's a wedding ceremony, and you like, here come the bride, all dressed in white. White acting salt, that is. Pun intended.
But go ahead.
I, I don't understand that part because let's be real, there has been a ongoing changes with the food FDA about what will be the regulation, how to put through the food until Bloomberg forced them to put the calorie count
Mm-hmm.
because
That's bullshit
I
because
remember
a
that.
small
due
franchise is not
to
gonna be able to do that. They can't afford that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have a funny story that
I
happened.
get it, but
I literally
but
just moved back to the country. I was, so I was in junior high. So some kid pulled a prank saying he took the was his Parmesan cheese sticker and put a salt. He reversed it. So I am like pouring, like fuck, I'm pouring, I'm hitting it, whatever, on my pasta. I'm like, I want Parmesan cheese on my pasta. I'm shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, shaking it. Nothing. For fucking like 30 seconds, I'm shaking this fucking thing. Like whatever, remember, yeah, I it was very fine salt. Obviously I was
Oh
very
my
young too.
God.
I bet it went. Oh god, it was
mm,
so goddamn hell in my mouth.
were you doing sort drugs?
Fuck you.
No. But that is where the problem comes to play because what Bloomberg main agenda was, he was trying to do something against the fast food industry because there was an ongoing health
Still is going.
crisis in the United States. With to this day, that people don't want to admit it. A lot of these fast food joints are changing things whereby it's becoming negatively affected to the public. So when they put that calorie count agenda, it was just to expose how much you're taking in. Well, let's be realistically here. Some of the fast food industry made it out of the U.S., but they were forced to go according to the country guideline, what ingredients they're supposed to be using. This is why when you see content creator comparing the different version of McDonald based in the US, based in Japan, based in Singapore, whatever, and see the ingredient and the texture of the food, it'll let you know something is off. Because I remember in the 80s, the food portion wasn't huge. It looked huge because we were so used to eating a portion like food. The obesity rate wasn't that dramatic back then, the 80s, 70s, or the 60s, because I recall, shout out to what we know Parker JT, he was showing video of the back of the 50s and 60s. A lot of people were slim. You don't see a lot of overweight people back then in the United States back then. Now, if you want to play that theme song, you see that more than anything
Yeah, and
else.
it's funny because people think this
You,
is a joke. It's not a joke. This is a serious topic, actually. But that's a topic for
you
a
understand?
different show.
I
But
know, but what I'm pointing out is the if you are keen to taste like some of us are, you can remember what a hamburger or cheeseburger tastes like back in the 80s, and you can tell within
I
your
remember.
taste buds
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
something is off.
yes.
So let me ask you guys a question. You got McDonald's, Five Guys, Wendy's, Burger King, uh, S- Shake Shack. I never had a burger from Shake Shack. In and Out,
Hold
Smash
on.
Burgers, White Castle, and What's a Burger? Which one from there? Hang on,
Yeah,
David. Let me finish my
wait,
question.
okay.
From all these
Okay.
burgers, you really need to stop cutting people off sometimes, dude.
I know. 'Cause I tell you, well, when you mentioned the list, there's one franchise not on that list.
Which
I'm
one?
wondering why.
I
Nathan.
never heard of them.
Which one?
Nate them.
You don't know Nathan, the same one that old that
Oh
hot
yeah,
dog eating
that. Yeah,
contest
I
in
didn't
Coney
know.
Island?
All right.
Like,
All right.
you
Yeah, seriously,
serious?
I never heard of them, dude. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
There are a couple on this list I have not heard. I'm not gonna bullshit. So, which one of the from all of these you think they have fresh meat? You're
None.
wrong.
Which one? Is it Wendy's?
Actually, I only know about Five Guys because I was working there. If you remember, Mariana, I was working there for a while, for like a hot
Yeah.
minute when
Yeah.
when you became my apprentice. Um,
Mhm.
so Five Guys literally brings the meat every day fresh. You roll it into balls, literally little Spartan nuts. I call them. You weigh them out, and they smash it on the grill.
Okay.
Yeah. So if the fries are cut fresh, I'll give them that.
Okay.
They use peanut oil, obviously. But yeah, they that's the only one that I know from the list. I'm not saying that's the only one. That's the only one I know from the list.
I would think Wendy would be
No,
in the
they're
list, but
frozen.
I can't
Everything's
really say
frozen.
they are.
They were they were
I know they're
advertising
frozen.
at one time in late 2000s. And they were saying it was fresh, but it was never fresh. Um, I heard In and Out Burger has fresh shit, but it's just a knockout version of a Smash Brothers. That's what it is. I mean, that's how
Okay.
they're on in
Mm,
Five Guys. They're just knockoff of each other, pretty much. So
interesting.
Eric says that the thin crust,
Personal pizza.
thin crust personal pizza in South Carolina in the 80s were the best Pizza Hut pizzas ever. They didn't even ever came close to the level of deliciousness that there once was.
Monster.
So I gotta give him credit on this one,
California.
Eric. Yeah. So so I actually love the old school stuffed crust pizza back in the day. You guys remember that?
Hmm.
I think it was one of the best, to be 100% honest with you guys. And I loved it back then. Um, it's each their own. Now, Domino's has a stuffed crust too, because
Yeah.
they're probably the patent finally right now, and that's why. All right, who wants to go first on this one? Dave, you want to go over first, or you want Mariana? You want ladies first, or you want to go first?
Well, this question you see right now, the which fast food burger is superior?
Yeah, which one do you think is better?
Sheesh. Well, I can't really say which one is safe for you to
All of
consume.
them are David. One thing I got to give credit: fast foods are like they're all technically safe. The DOH has not said anything they're
No,
unsafe.
I know. There's another terminology I'm reading with this. Yet they're safe according to the government regulation we have in this country. What I'm
Even
referring
overseas,
to as being
even
safe is
overseas, they're safe. A lot of these franchises are overseas.
no.
They're in your country too.
I know a lot of you. I know. See the problem. I will say it again. Yes, the franchise are overseas, but not using the same
You
ingredients.
know what's the difference? I'll tell you right now what's the difference. One is that the cows over there, they're not stuffed with steroids.
Mhm.
B, all these burgers you see on this list, I'll tell you straight up how it is, David. And you might not like what my answer is. You might get pissed off, and that's fine. Even overseas, they use the scrap meat for burgers, the cheap shit. That's the only way you're gonna make profit.
That's not new to me.
Say that again.
Good
I've been,
burgers.
that is not new to me. I've been aware of that. When you have family member who work in a restaurant, who own restaurants, who do all kind of business and stuff like that, you know the secret in and out. But when it comes to burger, I speak to people. Whoa, I haven't seen this guy in a while. How you been?
Doing great. How you doing?
Let's go to my man. How are you tonight?
I'm just surviving.
Um,
It's not the same. I'll be honest. Anyone who has traveled outside the country and went to these franchise restaurants, and they'll tell you it does not taste the same. Especially in Europe, the ingredients are completely different.
The only thing I'm
So
saying
I
to you
can't say what
as
we
a
eat.
chef that, and I'm telling you for a fact, any business, I don't care where you are in the world, the scrap beef
Hmm.
for burgers are the cheapest, and that's where you make the most money. If you're buying it for, let's say, $5 a pound and you're selling um $30 out of it, you're making $25 profit. You know what I'm saying? Before we move on,
And I and I get
let's
that.
get this guy in here and give him his opinion. Go ahead, my man. Your floor is yours.
I was actually wanting to just connect the dots because what you guys are saying is pretty much 100% factual. And I'm speaking from perspective here in Germany. Even how they won't allow certain foods that are Americanized, even over here. Think of breakfast cereals. Think of candies. And the one thing I also wanted to bring up is I've worked in restaurants my entire life. The hidden secret about flavoring in restaurants, whether it's low income or high scale or 4 stars or 5 stars. For Americans, it's your use of butter. When you work in the back of the house and you see how much butter is used for everything, we rarely use oil. Everything is coated in butter, so all that flavor, it's just butter, lard, butter, lard, butter, lard. This is why I think, on a global scale, the Americas have a cancer problem that is non-comparable to anywhere else in the world. And I've worked in restaurants here in Germany. They rarely use butter. It's oils, oils, oils. And because I think in a socialist system, they want people to be healthy, they do more. They make certain cultural norms and governmental norms that keep people healthy. Same way that they make sure that women get 3 months or 4 months off during their pregnancy, and then like a whole 6 months off afterwards, because they want women to breastfeed. Because in the socialist system, they want kids to be healthy. If they did it like the capitalist system, then they would be paying too much money into the healthcare system here, and it wouldn't work. They actually want mothers to be giving their kids full breast milk for an entire year, and the government will do everything it can to incentivize and make that happen. Whereas our system in America, it's capitalism. They wouldn't do that because that would actually be counterproductive to the capitalistic machine.
mhm.
So I can say for a fact, you're like 99% right. The only difference I would say is that they also add a lot of salt in their food here. I
I
mean,
know that, but I was mainly making the point with butter.
no, no, no,
But
no.
yeah, sauce. Yeah.
The other thing I also seen they use a lot here is not even butter, margarine.
Yeah.
Shitload
Yes.
of margarine. That's one chemical away from plastic. That's disgusting in my opinion.
And our
I
mark
also
and a microwave culture.
oh
And the
absolutely.
microwave culture. Yeah.
Mhm.
And being also from me being over from overseas also is I grew up in Greece. I didn't see that over
Yeah.
there as much.
Yeah.
that was like a new, that was a new thing here. I'm a chef personally. Mariana's a chef too. So, are
Mhm.
you a cook or a chef, or what's your title in your restaurant business?
I was mainly like a assistant manager always, and or bar manager, event manager, things like that. But I always worked with the back of the house. I always had a mentality of always making sure the servers tipped out the kitchen because they're the ones doing all the work before the servers got there. So that's why I was always allowed to travel in different restaurants all over America and be a manager for like a year, increase the input, and then move to another restaurant.
Okay. Um. So me and Mariana, Mariana learned under me over the years. So we are both dietary chefs. So as
Okay.
a dietary chef, there's a little different in dietary. We use more oils
Yes.
and chicken stocks and like that's that, but that's a different war. I don't even want to touch that. But in a restaurant world, you're 100%. They use a lot of butter and
Mhm.
salt. I mean, if you ever watch Hell Kitchen, if you've seen Ramsay, he always cooks his steaks in butter, and you see him flipping it and flipping and flipping. I'm like, dude, how much fucking butter are you gonna use?
Yeah.
I know you guys probably haven't seen it, but it's like that episode of the Boondocks where Huey had got like some greens and it's got these really
Hmm.
healthy vegetables, and the grandpa just put a bunch of bacon and lard in, and he's like, "These aren't
Mhm.
vegetables anymore, Grandpa." These, he's like, "What are you talking about? I brought it." It's like, no, it defeats the purpose. Like, you took
Dude,
something healthy
I
and just made it.
literally just I used to work with a chef. I didn't
Mhm.
even call him a chef. I call him a moron. And Mariano used to work for the same person, not
Yeah.
together. He literally uses a half of box of kosher salt in one meal he cooking. One half a
Yeah.
box. That is no wonder you have blood pressure, my man. That's all I'm
What?
gonna say and leave it.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Go ahead, David.
whoa,
Go.
whoa, whoa,
You
time out.
get the floor.
Half a box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong,
Half a
Mariana,
box?
this is does this moron use a half a box per meal?
Yeah, he does. And I was wondering why. Why the so much salt? He was making one time jerk chicken, and it was salty as hell. I had to drink like a full bottle of water. Okay, I don't understand that.
That's not jerk chicken.
No, Jamaican jerk chicken, his style,
That's slaughter chicken.
slaughter chicken.
Oh,
Yo,
his style.
dude, I'll put it this way. I am. Do you know what a skillet is? Anybody? All right.
Of
So
course. Yeah.
it's a triangle, pretty much of a pot. All right. So
Mhm,
I'm making chili there. Like I'm tasting. It's really fucking good at this point. I had my
mhm.
barbecue. I had my beans. I had my seasoning. He goes, needs more salt. He literally
Oh
opens the
my
box. He
god.
goes, literally a whole box. Goes, whoop. The chef. He was
Oh
another
my
idiot. That
god.
goes. He literally just dropped. He fucking threw a hell of salt. He goes to me like, hell, salt. Like that. The terminology was new to me. I said, like, you mean a lot of salt? Like, yeah. I'm like, I taste it. I'm like, way
I'm
too
sorry.
much.
May I, is he a person of color? If you don't mind me asking.
Jamaican.
Okay. Unfortunately, this is, and he can attest. We also do the same thing with sugar at an early age.
Ice.
We our sugar intake. Think about the '80s and how the running stereotype was. Like when we made Kool-Aid and how much sugar they used to put in the Kool-Aid. Like like
Oh
like
God.
try
Please
to
don't
remember
remind
that.
me.
So
Please don't remind me.
now it's so idiotic, but it's the culture, and we won't dissect it and call it idiotic because it's culture.
Mhm,
It's tradition. So we
This
say like, well, we're keeping, and it's like that's why we have the food demons, especially us in the black community in America. We kill ourselves over our taste buds. Like we can't eat healthy because we have a food demon in us that won't allow us to.
mhm,
Our taste buds will not. People who try to eat healthy and those, I just can't. I can't even fathom just eating a cucumber and drinking some water and calling that my lunch. But we can't do intermittent fasting. We can't go a
mhm,
day without eating. Women, we can't. They can't even be seduced without eating. Eating is a part of our everyday everything in America, and we have to dissect it, but we won't because it's our culture.
mhm.
Dr. Ian Smith did a special where he criticized the black church, more so the one that poured to the Midwest to the South, about what they like to cook. Like half of the church already had diabetes or one dose away from getting amputated. Like, you serious? I remember that when you said Kool-Aid, I was having a PTSD moment because we used to do that thing heavy in the north and it dropped down, but it's heavy so in the south. The amount of sugar that you have, let me put it like this. I'm told by my own fellow countrymen that the sugar you use here is not actual from natural cane sugar to begin with. Because when you talk about sugar cane, that used to be a past treat that used to sell back to my country.
Mhm.
And the way sugar cane tastes, if you have good taste bud memory and compared to the sugar you take here, you can tell it's not the same. Something is off.
We didn't have sugar canes. We ate little Debbie cakes. Those little Debbie cakes were our first crack of choice. When we,
Yeah.
y'all remember the oatmeal little Debbie? Y'all remember those
Oh
oatmeal
Yes.
cakes?
God.
Okay,
Yes.
that was our. As a kid, I would have killed a whole box of 10 in a day easily.
You, that's known to New York City. When you're depressed as a kid, that was therapy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember those.
Oh
Even I'll
God.
use solo drinks for a great example. The
Mm.
Mountain Dew, one of my favorite drinks. I know it's a lot of sugar, but over the years, the flavor has changed so much. It's not the same Mountain Dew that was back in the '90s
Mhm.
that is now.
Do you remember Surge?
I don't remember that.
Oh
You
no.
remember the summer of Surge? It was about 3 years before they took it off the market. It was Mountain Dew times 10, and it was
Oh,
Surge. And man, we was drinking. It was
I
they
think
actually
I see
banned it
that.
from the school because we were zonked out drinking it.
That was the first version of the Red Bull.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It was the first kind of Monster energy drink before energy drinks and stuff came out.
Mm.
Surge.
See,
Even the commercial was Surge. Like that was the commercial. And
I'm
we
not sure.
Mm.
You say you're in Germany, right, dude?
yeah, but I'm from Oklahoma.
Okay, so I'm not sure about where in Germany, but back in Greece, you could not buy it at a certain age. You had to be wait at a certain age limit. I'm not sure it's the same law in there.
Not no, not anymore because the Monster energy drinks are such a huge thing here with the vaping culture that young kids are getting programmed to that you got to get these kids off of it. Kids are vaping at 13 and 12 years old here. And I'm sure
Oh,
it's
I
maybe the
believe
same
it
thing in America.
because in Greece, people were smoking. I remember going at 12 years old, picking my mom's cigarettes up, and we have like little like deli, not deli, like little stores outside, like
Mhm.
detention stores, and you can literally go buy cigarettes, smoke a cigarette, go back to class. That was a
Yeah.
very common culture back then. I'm not sure now, but because I haven't been a while since being back to Greece. But from what you're saying, Europe has not
No,
changed that much since I left.
No,
there was a
this
drink
term
that was
it's the
banned
very
from
smoking
all.
culture, the way that we as Americans have a gun culture. It's
Mm.
ingrained here. And I ask kids,
But
why are you smoking so early? And their reasoning is one, their parents are smokers a lot, and two, they have stress. And I was like, wait, what stress do you have? And they're like, "Eh, their parents give them so much stress, the school gives them so much stress, so that their only stress relief is video games and cigarettes. And I'm like, okay, so we as parents got to start having certain conversations with our kids about how to deal with stress because, and I get it, like the parents here, they're very rigid about schoolwork, about chores, about it. Like the kids live on eggshells around their parents essentially, so they have to smoke to relax at an
Yeah.
early age.
So also the thing we have to keep in mind, we're used to here in America, the houses are pretty freaking big. Even the apartments, like my 2 bedroom townhouse apartment is humongous versus a 2 bedroom apartment in Europe. They're night and day. They're like I would say a 1 bedroom apartment, a regular 1 bedroom apartment is what is in Greece for 2 bedrooms kind of thing. So I don't know if you've seen that in Germany. If I assume it's similar. I assume right now. I'm not. Might be
Only in the urban city areas, like I live like 30 minutes from Berlin, so where I live, my apartment is 380 a month. But if I had this same apartment in Berlin, it'd be around 800.
I believe it.
Yeah.
That's cheaper.
Actually, it'd be about 1,000.
But here's the thing.
It'd easily be more than 1,000 because Berlin's like New York City now with the apartment market.
Yeah,
It's
you're in the main
very
hub.
difficult.
Like Athens is for me.
Okay.
Earlier, you mentioned Surge, right? They were the drink that replaced the Danger Zone that Surge had, and it was normally in almost every corner store called for local.
Well, yeah, before locals, but
If
alcohol.
anyone,
So I mean,
yeah, but the alcohol drink combined with other drinks as well. A lot of high school kids were buying that
yeah, you're
drink
right.
I do
because it was
remember.
alcohol mixed with Red Bull and some other type of liquor. When they take four local, it's four different type of
Yeah,
beverages mixed under one. And it hit the news airway. I'm not sure what before or after the pandemic. They decided to ban it because it was becoming very dangerous.
yeah. Before,
Because when I heard, I've been to almost every corner store in Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens, and I see that clear. There was nothing blocking the promotion or everything. You see people from high school, and I'm watching it. I'm looking at them like, why are there easy access for young kids to have until it become a nationwide issue, but mostly localized in New York City. But I'm sure other states have to follow suit. There are joints that should not be in a corner store to begin with, but it find its way to sneak in.
So if you guys remember, in the early 2000s, they were mixing a lot of energy drinks with liquor. Like you used to order Jack and Red Bull or
Red,
Captain and Red Bull.
Red Bull and vodka, Red
Oh,
Bull and vodka. Yeah,
That
oh
was a
which
God!
is a
huge.
Please don't
they,
remind
they
me.
counteract each other. It's such a stupid combination when you really think about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
and I
God!
never understood that. Why
Don't
would people
remind me.
mix it? Like, I thought you want to have a good time, but not be cracked out. But if you guys
I'll tell you.
remember,
I'll
an
tell you
energy
why.
drink called Liquid Crack, they took that off the market for a reason. Because
Really? You sure?
Liquid Crack, I have not seen that shit in years.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. I saw the
Jaeger
grocery
bombs
store,
in your
in our
culture, Jaeger
grocery store.
bombs.
But here it is. I saw it in my grocery store, which is right across the street
Mhm.
from us. There's a drink called Liquid Death. I wanted that to formulate to be called Liquid Crack.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing you need to understand. When you talk about that mixture of drinks, let me tell you why they do that. Because you're talking to a guy who's doing security guard at Governor Island when they have the concert season. That's before whatever kind of buzz the people trying to get. You're mixing Red Bull that make you go up with an alcohol drink that make you go down. And you taking multiple shots of that while listening to high paced music. Do, do, do. I'm maybe it's a security guard watching what they're serving. I'm looking at the people and I'm wondering, is this a disaster that's about to happen? Because you know how many people we had to drag off Governor Island after many different type of combinations they've been drinking and it looked like they're already wasted. We had to carry people like they were like dangling off the island, put them on a water taxi, had them escorted out. Either they let them walk by themselves or go like call a taxi. I told this server, what's the point of mixing all these kind of concoctions? Say that's a new thing. That how to make the money. I'm like, you
Yeah,
serious?
Mariah, you've been a little quiet over there. Let's see. Hey, let's see. Hear your voice come
Uh,
out.
sorry. Um, I'm trying to think of something because I know a lot of stuff
Don't hurt
that.
yourself.
What is it?
Don't hurt yourself again.
No, I'm not gonna hurt myself. I'm just what I'm trying to say is not only fast food, but then you have the stuff that it doesn't exist anymore,
Like
like
what?
like the candies that I grew up. I remember it doesn't exist, like push pop, ring pop, in the '80s.
Ooh.
What was the other one? I'm trying to remember.
Laffy
Um,
Taffies,
yes, yes,
Mm.
the 5 cent Laffy Taffies with a joke in the wrapper.
yep. I remember those. Like,
and end up becoming a song.
And it's like a lot of the stuff you wonder why it was such a big craze in the 80s and 90s. And now it's like, okay, it faded. Now you're wondering, it's the same concept with fast food. Like a lot of stuff, existed, but then it just kind of far gone, like Boston Market. I don't see Boston Market. Even though it doesn't,
Yeah, I
I
think they
don't
went
know.
out of business actually.
Yeah, they went to bankruptcy.
Ba- Bankruptcy,
And
yeah.
what's the other one? Trying to remember. Even, I don't know if it's considered a fast food. It's one of those franchise before Subway, but I know that's more like a New York thing. Blimpies, you remember those?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Blimpie. Oh, they got bought out by Subway. They got bought out by Subway. They were losing location after location. Subway pushing them out.
Okay.
Some the last few locations were left over in Brooklyn, and they kind of like
Yeah.
fade away,
Yeah.
or they
It
got
is.
bought
So let me
out.
ask you a question
It's
really
yeah.
fast. Um,
Yes.
if you had to pick your favorite chicken sandwich or a favorite fast food sandwich, which one would it be?
Jack in the Box sourdough burger.
Okay. What about you, Mariano?
Ooh,
I will say Popeyes. They have like a chicken sandwich with like almost like a brioche bun. So
Hmm.
yeah.
David?
no, that's difficult because I'll try the chicken sandwich in Wendy's. I'll try chicken sandwich in Popeyes, and I'll try chicken sandwich in Chick-fil-A. And the other one that in ranking is Chick-fil-A first, Wendy's second, Popeyes third.
As a chicken, I would pick Wendy's on a heartbeat. But
Hmm.
as a sandwich, I would go probably White Castle. But I
Hmm.
don't understand.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, give me.
I mean, you can just take Pepto Bismol. I mean, you might as. I
Yeah,
mean,
you have a good point there.
sir,
When you're
White
drunk, you don't
Castle.
give a shit. Yeah, when you're
No,
drunk,
no, 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 no. You gonna give a shit. You gonna give a lot of shit. You gonna be doing. You gonna be graffitiing the toilet seat, man. You tagging.
uh, what I was going to say is, I don't understand the craziness. Everybody's going crazy over Chick-fil-A. I think it's just another burger, chicken joint. I think
Right.
it's overrated. David,
I know.
don't make
Sir,
me
I'm
push
just
the button. David, I will push the button on you.
White Castle is diabolical, sir. Wow, that's your favorite?
dude, will you ever become a shit gun so they can bend you and touch you in the wall?
There's more chicken joints that I never heard of that's in the market. I can't even remember. Some kind of chicken, a restaurant franchise come from Philippines, not spread throughout United States. And it's such a big thing now all of a sudden.
But here again, they don't come up north, but they go to the south for game traction before they
So
come up here.
Yeah.
here's the thing, David. I
That is
just
the
found
trick
out from
now.
King Smith actually, because if you remember our friend King Smith, just
Oh,
went to Japan with his wife, and I just when I was hanging out with him last week.
girlfriend. Don't give her that title yet, girlfriend,
Oh, well,
girlfriend.
I
Don't
just want
don't
to
you do
piss
that
him
to
off.
King?
I
Don't you do
will.
that to King and
Listen, listen,
call her a wife?
listen.
She
I'm
the
allowed to do that.
girlfriend.
You know why I'm allowed to do that? He's one of my best
Okay, why?
friends. Yeah, he's one of
Okay.
my best
Oh, then
friends.
you know how. Don't you do
Oh,
that to
fuck
King?
yeah! I love stirring a pot with him. He literally, I had her on one of my shows. I said it
Hmm.
right there. I go, wife. He goes. He literally just went down.
I know exactly his.
Yeah, I know. I love King. I love him like a brother. I really do. But it
Yeah.
isn't a show. I don't have to. I can't fuck with him because he does the same thing to me. So he can go. We're going where it comes. Where I got thing. But seriously, all joking aside, is I just found out something very interesting. As just in fast food, even in fast food joint, some places, you overseas, they actually still have a server, like even to go to McDonald and stuff like that. But in Japan, they have a zero tipping culture, and it kind of threw me off guard a little bit. I'm like, really? I'm like, because I never heard of that personally.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you that I've been researching culture for a long time, and that's not new to Japan, but it's embedded within the type of culture environment they lived in. It's not that
I think
there's
they're
no
not the only
tipping.
one.
It's how it's how you treat their service.
Mhm.
Did This is something a lot of people have been mentioning on YouTube who will travel around the world and they tell you before you go to Japan, learn their culture
Hmm.
first before you eat in their restaurant because what you think is normal here in the US is not normal over
Yeah.
there. You need to be very, very careful. Certain thing you may do could consider be a disrespect to
That's
them.
why the tipping is very
And they will
disrespectful towards them.
Mm.
that's one part. Another part I heard, I'm not sure it's correct, that if you don't finish their food, it's almost as if you showing disrespect to their cooking.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
most
not
Asian
sure.
cultures. Like if you
Yeah.
deal with young people, if you when you go deal with old, if you go to like a family function with Asian people, like they're going to start bombarding you with food, and if you don't, like, if it's, as soon as you start the plate, if you don't finish the full plate, like that old lady is going to be crying in a corner. Like it's
Mm.
disrespectful. And that's why you got to prepare yourself before you go. Like get small plates because if you leave anything uneaten on the plate, you're going to have to answer some questions. What did you not? Why did you finish this plate but
Hmm.
not that plate? And then
Same thing in Greek culture.
Hmm.
yeah,
All of us have seen my fat Greek wedding, and if you guys remember this first scene, like, Eli, you're hungry? No, I'm good. Okay, I'll make you some food. That's how it is in the Greek culture. Like, if like for example, if you were over here, David, for my mom goes, "Hey, David, you're hungry? No, I'm good. I'll make you food anyway." And you get, or
Yeah.
round one, round two, round three,
Mhm.
David, you're a big guy. You're going to be bigger before you leave this house. You're going to hit probably
Nah,
400
it ain't gonna
pounds
work for me.
easily.
no, they don't play, man.
David, if you were to live,
I get it. I get it.
listen, my mom
I
threw an
get it. But here's
iPhone
the
at
thing.
me. She will throw a frying pan at you, and she doesn't miss.
And all I gotta do is do the
She
matrix.
doesn't
All I
miss.
gotta do is do the
Sir,
matrix. I'll be like,
sir, you can dodge a bullet. You cannot fly, you cannot dodge a flying slipper or a frying pan from a mother. I don't
Yeah,
care what you
definitely
ain't
a
about
Greek
that life,
mother
sir.
who is
Mm.
76 years old, who is beating cancer twice, and she will fuck you up. You, Mariana, actually met my
let's
mom.
not.
Mariana, how is my mother?
Um, Sometimes you could be a handful, I will say. And a couple of times I've tried to take her to the doctor and she refused,
You
but
know
I
what,
had to.
David, I'll do you one better. I'm gonna pay you for your bus trip to come up here for a weekend, but I'm gonna leave you guys by yourselves.
Please record that. Please make it a
Are
vlog.
you?
If you do this,
Are you?
please
Hold
put it
on.
on.
Hold on. Hold
Yo,
on. Hold
please
on.
do
Hold on.
this and make a
Bro,
vlog of it.
I'll put it this way: downstairs, because I have nurses and stuff coming in and out of the houses. I got cameras all over the house downstairs.
Perfect.
Mhm.
I will record every moment of it, and I will live stream if I have to.
Hold on. Hold on. You're forgetting something. I'm not an African American, so let's remember that. I'm a full 100% grade A
She don't
African.
care.
Yeah,
She
you're
she don't
funny.
care.
Okay.
She don't
Okay.
care. She gonna
Okay.
treat you how she treats you. You gonna eat. You gonna eat or you gonna get beat. Which is
Well,
it's
Hey,
what
you
it,
pick
you
one.
gonna
Yeah,
eat or you
your
gonna get beat.
funeral,
Yeah.
bro. Your funeral.
because
I'll put it this way.
I,
My, I'll put,
I see the comedy of different racial groups in one restaurant and how they
David,
act.
I'll give you an
African
example.
people, especially from my country, are weird.
So Mariana was kind enough to get pick up my mom's medication because I was working late one night. So my mom was
Mhm.
making gyros, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
So my Mariana sits down like a person, like and just talk bullshit. If you need to take her, light her feet. She's had a long day, whatever. She goes
Mhm.
before Mama asks if she's hungry. He goes, "Here's a plate." She literally put the plate in front of her, and she's looking at her like, "So you're gonna eat it or what?" Mariana knew better. She goes, "I guess I'm eating this." And I go, "Yeah, kind of do, I guess." And it wasn't like a small gyro. It was literally the size of my head. She makes her gyros. I'm not even joking.
I'm not surprised.
They're
I'm not surprised.
humongous.
But
I actually
but you need to
weighed one
understand.
out. They're about 6.7 pounds per gyro.
But you need to understand my PTSD when it comes to food. Talking to a guy who comes from an African culture, Nigeria, for example, who had dodged a lot of eatery on purpose. Perfect example. This is my people. You know what their favorite dish they like to eat pastime among grown ass men? Goat head. You think I want to be around with it without serving the actual goat head on a dish? And I will. I make sure I dodge those things for a reason.
Mhm.
I'm very selective with food for a reason because in my culture, among African people, what they like to eat, based on variation. Some of the food class, it got you to question yourself, like, what the hell are they getting themselves into? I don't
Sir,
like
are
to
you,
watch animals
sir,
get
are you
slaughtered
talking too
because
long for a Greek mother? You maybe would have had 7 seconds to get your explanation out before she put another plate in front of you. You trying to explain to you your culture of why you don't
trust
want
me
to
when
eat
I
the
say this.
food is not. Please record it. Just I would I'll pay to
I
see
have
this.
practiced. I practiced the art of fujistu, meaning know how to just appear when necessary.
David, I put it this way: you kind of have a very small idea what you're going into with my mother because I tell you why.
Don't prepare him. No. We want no. Don't
No,
prepare
no,
him.
I'm not gonna permit anything.
I want to see this.
I was gonna say one thing. My mother was actually on a live stream twice with us, and he has an
And
idea
you
how
know
my
I'm
mother
dark
is.
skinned.
You keep saying you're
I know.
African like it
You know I'm
means
dark skinned,
something.
right?
It don't mean
It
nothing.
means shit to my mother.
Okay, you know I'm
I'll
dark
put
You,
it
skinned,
this
right?
sir,
way.
you are a
I'll put it
male.
this way.
As a male person who you are supposed to be hungry, and she's gonna feed you, and she's gonna want
I
a
know.
review as you're eating of what is great about what you're eating. Yo, you don't know what you're walking
And
into,
according to
man.
this, and according to the spotter, he liked to joke on my skin control dark. If I turn up the light, only see my eye and teeth. Watch me blend through the dark out of nowhere. If you try to
I
serve me
never said
food, you
I'll
that.
be
won't find
back. I
me.
had to get battery.
Yeah.
But believe
Nice
me,
meeting you,
I have
Maria.
I've learned from you how to dodge people,
I'll be back.
and that's the reason why when it comes to eating, I don't know why I got picked on since young. Because when I watch my family eat the certain food they eat, if I don't eat it, I get my ass whooped. So I got beaten for not eating certain food as a kid. So why do you think I learned how to just appear when necessary, when you least expect it? I don't want to know in the family of doing that a lot. Oh, you're gonna eat? Where is a liar? I'm gone already before you even think about calling my name.
Sir, when you invite him, please like make your place into like a booby trap, like Saul, like with like a mazes, and then so as he's trying to
I'll
run
put it this
away,
way.
like your mom is like chasing him with a plate of food, and he's getting lost, and all of a
Oh
sudden he
no,
finds
no, no!
himself back in
I got.
the.
I'm gonna give one last piece of advice. The last person to eat my mom's food, she had my sharpener, my professional chef sharpener that cost me about $900. She's sharpening my $1,800 knife like this, slow motion, and she's looking at the person. Why did you eat my food? In and out, very slowly, nice
No
little
problem.
strokes. She's only about
No
a
problem.
foot and a half away from that person. You're not gonna be
No
David.
problem.
You could be Diana when you leave this
Oh,
house.
I know. Remember, I'm from the dark continent. No worries.
You have no idea what you're getting into in the drink house.
And he really doesn't. Just record
Listen,
it
No,
one
and
of
let
your
it
own
happen.
brothers is telling you you have no idea what you're walking into.
I I get it.
No, you don't.
It's
I
scared.
get it when
I
it
mean,
comes to food because
Paul is probably scared to come over and eat the food. He knows he leaves something on the table. He's gonna probably be like, papai.
I'm aware of
All
that.
right, your funeral. Do you have a will, by the way? Do you have a
Uh,
will? All
oh,
right,
Okay.
well,
upgrade it
We
before
we
you
just
come
cast
over.
my
we
life.
got, we just want to make sure your kids and everybody's sorted before you go. You know.
No problem. No problem. I'm just telling you.
You talk a lot
Oh,
of
I've
shit, but
been
you ain't
I've
back
been
it up,
going to the
David.
training.
David, before you go, just make sure that you clear your internet history before you go, and just in case, okay? Just make sure you
Oh,
clear your internet history.
that's done automatically. That's done
Okay, all
automatically.
right.
That's done
Okay.
automatically.
So I want to
I've been
actually
watching too much anime to learn that trick.
let's get back on track. There's one brand up here that is actually only some regions have their own franchises. In my country, Greece, we have what's called goodies. I'm not sure if German have that, but I mean, yeah, Germany have goodies, but goodies is like a very high end fast food joint. I call it. So they don't serve your food on paper; they serve your food on real plates.
What's the theme color of the
I'm
restaurants?
sorry,
What are the theme colors of the restaurant?
What is the theme
white and
color
red.
of the restaurants?
Let me
I
see if I
think
can.
there. I've seen. Yeah, I've seen a few, but only in the metropolitan areas. But in Germany, like
I thought I
everything is
saw
mainly
one
tuna. It
table.
comes from the Turkish culture, so like there's not a big burger culture here. But there is like that.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Sorry.
White red. That Greek. Did the Greek mix around with Russian or Italians?
It's a burger joint. That's all I know. It's called Cooties.
When I'm asking that, I might see one or two in Coney Island region. No, Coney Island is mixed with Russian
I
people
have
from
never seen this place
Ukraine, from
in the
Italy.
states, so I don't know if they have it over
The,
here.
I think
the
I've
reason
seen a goodies in New
reason I'm
York
saying
City
that.
when I was there in the early 2000s. I'm pretty positive I saw
Thank you.
one.
Reason I'm saying, reason I'm saying that because if you don't know the region of
Yeah,
Brooklyn, Coney Island
Cooties.
is diverted in a very unique way because you have the Russian that live out there, people from Ukraine that live out there, people from Italy that live out there, and the Russian. So some of you European restaurants that you know out there are finding a way in Brooklyn, but not all, only within the Bay area where those people live.
yeah.
When I asked you for the thin color and you mentioned that, for me, I've been around almost everywhere in
Mhm.
Brooklyn, Bay Ridge, Coney Island area. It might be hidden, but you will not notice it. This is what I'm saying. Because Brooklyn is like a turf.
Yeah, now that I'm picturing it, I'm almost positive it was on Coney Island when we used to go kick it on the beach.
Thank,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you. You hit it on the nail because I come across that before when I'm doing a tech job out there, and I was like,
I want to say
I'm
Staten
being
Island as well.
established for your
I want to
group.
say Staten Island as well.
Staten Island. I never checked that far. I'll go
And
that
we had
far to
most of
look
y'all
for
was
the
scared to
Staten
go.
Island. It's in Coney Island.
Staten Island was a monster back then, but I'm
Mhm.
almost positive it was there
No,
as well.
it is. It's a signal issue in Staten Island. You go to some place in Staten Island, you don't get a lot of
This
signal
was before
strength.
the early
It's like in a
2000s. The
dead
internet
zone.
wasn't that serious yet, so yeah, yeah, we didn't care about signal in the early 2000s.
So the place is
Yeah.
actually
I
called
know, but
Goodies
when you
Burger
mention a
House.
restaurant, I came across
Yes.
It's
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Burger House. So they serve everything on real plates, no paper shit, nothing. And
Okay.
I think that's
Hmm.
actually I'm very fascinated with that. And that's the only one that I know. They even serve beer there. It's like a real
Mm.
restaurant, but fast food.
How
So
long that existed?
it still exists now.
Really?
This is
But
back
when
in
it's
Greece.
so. Oh, okay. I don't know if I ever heard of
So
it.
now, do you guys? I know we're all over the place now, a little bit with different continents. David, do you have something from your side of the world that is only based in Africa, like a fast food joint?
Like McJollofs
Oh,
or
they
something
find a
like.
way in here. Trust me.
It's like
Look,
McDonald's where
hold
it's
on.
just
Let's
jollof
stop
rice.
here. I had to tell. No, hold on. I had to get on Chicago with us several times on multiple panels. Do not mention Jollof. Do not talk about Jollof war. Period.
Okay, sorry.
Because here the problem, if people don't understand food, when it comes to Jollof, there's a rivalry between certain countries. That is Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and I think Kenya in the midst. And when you talk about
I
Jollof,
was
who
I
Jollof
was
is
just I was
better,
just jolloffing, I was just jolloffing. I'm sorry.
see, see, now I got to tell this guy, just like Chicago Villa, cut it out. Here's the
All
problem:
right.
a lot of unique Nigerian restaurant or African restaurant are sneaking in already, and where they're going mostly right now, either they're staying around close to downtown Brooklyn or in Manhattan because that's where the market. There's a new restaurant called Lagos NYC. All the best eatery right now is being advertised there, and it's becoming a new thing. They have one in Atlanta, and I know they got one in Texas. So it's all regional for a particular reason. Now, when it comes to African food, I'm telling you this though, the name is mostly based on the person who established that business. They're bringing that name with them over here. That's the thing. So when we talk about franchise, the franchise tied to the family name. The family out here when they establish that brand, they will do that. No one's stopping them. And that's how it is. But there's a rivalry among them because of one, if you're that damn good and you get celebrity to taste your food, they'll put you out there. The one in particular that on Fortune Street,
Please see
where
how.
Simone have been there to that Nigerian restaurant and a few other celebrities, and they put it on a map. So Lagos, New York City, a few celebrities have went there already and become a well-known thing. So
Mm.
if you want good, authentic food, find a Nigerian who will tell you the truth and not lie to you. She won't get
I
bamboozled
wasn't even
because
asking.
I have.
I was asking what is a franchise that is only based in your country.
There's no franchise. The franchise tied to the family name.
All right. So this
I'm trying to
pictures right
explain to
here
you.
is literally from Athens.
Wow.
One of the first goodies that came in Athens. It
Oh
looks pretty
wow.
high end, actually, if you think about it. What we're used to. So, Mariana, what about you? Anything? I know you're when you're visiting your loved ones overseas. Did you guys have
Mhm.
any Pacific franchises back in homeland?
Um, I mean, it's not from there, but it's mostly American franchise, like McDonald's, KFC. Um, uh, that so far because McDonald's is everywhere, and McDonald's is
Mhm.
not the same from over there to here. You know, like
Thank you.
it's very different. And every time you always hear somebody say, "Oh, McDonald's it tastes better overseas than in America."
I actually believe it or
So
not, a lot of people where McDonald's went to Greece at first hated it because they're not
yeah,
used to the Big Mac sauce. But everybody's so
yeah,
used to goodies. And people used to come to your table, bring your food, have real silverware, real
hmm
plates. And when everything was on paper, I'm like, where's my silverware? Like, we
hmm
don't do that like that here.
yeah.
So, um, what about you, my man? You got anything on your side of the world over there? Any franchise?
Everything everything is Dunas. You can't go a few blocks without running into a Duna shop. So it's not so much a franchise; it's the culture because the Turkish people are like the black people and the Mexicans of America, meaning that like for
Mm.
about 5 generations they've been here since the wall came down, and they've monopolized German food, and, like Turkish pizza, Dunas. Like, they do it all and they do it quick. So most German people are now growing up with Turkish food, and that's their franchise, like the Duna spot, the Duna spot. Same way in New York, how it used to be the bodega spot. You know, we're talking about sandwiches.
Mm.
There's nothing better than some of those breakfast bodega sandwiches we used to get back in the day. But of course,
Now you
unhealthy
have
as all hell.
the now you have
But
what we call bodega war. Who
right,
had the best bodega?
so
Like
here
in
in
Greece, they have
Germany,
the cryo shops.
yeah. So here in Germany, it's mainly whatever and it's the same thing in every single restaurant. It's nothing different. It's every single one of them is the same. So that's our franchise really. McDonald's don't do that. McDonald's is okay here, but every Duna place is doing well because it's part of the culture now,
Hmm.
and everybody
I think
eats it.
it had to be like a turf war. Like I said it before, if something that dumbed that particular area, any entity outside the country would not able to come in. Like South Africa, I've seen when security forces out there, we got Popeye, we got McDonald's, we got KFC, but she's saying, and the people she meet out there, they say it's not the same taste as one here in the U.S. Everything is different. Meaning they can take the franchise name outside the country, but according to the government law based on regulation of food, the ingredients have to meet their standards.
Yeah,
That's why I mentioned this before. If you see a McDonald's in South Korea or McDonald's in Japan, just keep that in mind.
hmm
What's been regulated in their own nation, the ingredient had to meet the standards. So you can't bring what you have here over there. If it get rejected, then you gotta find a substitute to replace that. That's why I think when it comes to franchise, you gotta be careful. We don't have franchise in Nigeria, which it's funny. I was acting I think when I spent 7 years in Nigeria, why there's no franchise. Now realizing we have people who are prominent chefs, they're trying to make a name for themselves and make it as a family legacy thing. They pass down to the next generation. So whatever popular name is run by the family. They're able to branch out in that country. That may look like a franchise to you, but in behind closed door, that's a family business. You get what I'm coming from? So that's I'm sure the Caribbean no different themselves. They're almost the same way. You hear the McKenzie, but that's tied to a family name. The McKenzie, there should be a McKenzie on Utica Avenue.
But
That's
if
a
you
jerk
think about it,
chicken.
most franchises started with a family name. The McDonald brothers, Five
hmm
Guys. It started with five. Literally, it's actually more than five guys. What's a funny story about it? But the brothers are five who are related altogether who started it.
Mm,
Then you have Wendy's. That was another family franchise.
big time.
I'm 90% sure Wendy White Castle is 2, but they guys family run, bro.
I think Wendy is more family with the daughter. The
The
granddaughter
daughter,
took
yeah.
over. I think
I said White
because
Castle.
the logo was White Castle. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. When Wendy's, I know it was the her grandfather, some shit like that, and he used
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
granddaughter as the face of it.
Mhm.
KFC
Yes.
is another
And
one.
she grew into it.
Yeah. Now all of these what we have here. Let me get the list back up here because we're back on track now. Um, give me 1 second, guys.
Is White Castle family?
Yeah, it's family run. That's the only corporation in America. It's still run by family. It's not you can't buy into the franchises. That's the only one in America that I know of, at least. I might be completely wrong, but most of these do have a a name behind it. And like there may be a few like in and Burger. Again, I don't know if that was a franchise from the beginning or whatever the case is. And like there's so many, they say In-N-Out Burger has the most fresh ingredients, but Five Guys I know they have fresh ingredients too because but David loves his Five Guys, so I can't deny him. Like, did he 501s or separately? Which one is it?
No, if it comes to burger, I ought to go to a diner because I learned my
Oh man,
lesson.
you didn't
When
get the
go to a lot
joke,
of
David. It went over your head.
I know.
Yeah. So let's
But
get to the
then
next slide.
I'm very picky about the burger because we have done burgers heavy like I have.
Oh,
You
let's
have
talk
to
about
realize
coffee
the
here for a
taste
second,
don't stay the
guys.
same.
Yeah, let's talk about
Oh,
iced coffee. No, why no?
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee is called iced sugar. You will taste the sugar content in it.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different conversation. But I want to talk about the brands of iced coffee for a minute. Like, okay, yeah, you can argue the fact iced coffee is sugar. I'll give you that for. I'll give you 5 minutes of that argument. But I personally think iced coffee is frappe. Where I grew up in Greece. So to me, that's iced coffee. But
Man, most Americans will call iced coffee from the standpoint of when they get from Starbucks. Like once Starbucks became
Bingo.
popular, like
Mhm.
even the frappuccinos, like
Mhm.
so unhealthy, but we were inhaling that stuff like crack cocaine. So we're doing the same thing with iced coffee in Starbucks. And I remember when Starbucks became popular, everyone was like big old plastic cup full of ice and sugar and whatever stuff in it, and that's the iced coffee. And you guys from Greece, if you got an iced coffee, I'm sure it's completely different.
Yeah, like for a Greek going to the coffee shop and having an iced coffee is you're gonna order frappe. Now
Correct.
there are some other stuff out there too, obviously, frappuccinos and all that stuff, but they make it from scratch, so the health factor is a little
That's
different,
different.
obviously. But you're not gonna
Yeah.
fill it with chocolate and all that stuff.
The one
Like
got it worth is McDonald. McDonald got it worth because I'm sorry, that is if you are a person working in a warehouse or lifting a lot of heavy equipment, you need that little jolt of energy.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but you're gonna need a iced coffee from McDonald's instead of the iced coffee from Starbucks or any other brand because the amount of sugar level they put in there it's ridiculous. Plus, you need that extra burn because you're lifting over 50, 100 pound plus, and you're going through like your reserve, your body sugar reserve. So you would need that, Joe. And I did that, knowing that when I first tasted it was crazy. But I was on a site pulling about 3 or 4 pallet worth of equipment, and I need that burst. So what do you think I was doing?
dude, look at Burger King again. Burger King is known for the sugar drinks.
Yeah.
McDonald beat them.
I disagree with that one.
Ooh, I tried
Wait,
Burger
wait,
King and
no, no.
McDonald.
McDonald's has way more sugary drinks than Burger King.
Thank
You
you.
think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going on numbers. I'm just thinking from my taste palette.
I mean, think about like Burger King doesn't even really have like ice cream. Like, they have like a shake, but McDonald's has a lot more sugary drinks to choose from than Burger King does.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't. If all fairness, I really don't go to McDonald's like that. To be honest.
Then why would you?
Oh,
Okay, then you try to make the argument. Okay, never mind. If you don't even go to
Yeah.
McDonald's like that, then you
That's
don't
why I
say-
corrected myself on that one.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I'll give you guys that one. Panera has some sugary drinks too, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they ain't competing with Starbucks. It's based on
Yeah,
who's
you
trying to
know
be
who
so
has the
far
most
healthy.
sugary drinks, really, if you think about it? Sonic.
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah, with the shakes and everything.
Yeah,
the
No,
name
Yeah,
alone.
and
the
all
cherry
these
lime,
different.
the
Yep.
slush. They had slushies. They have the sugary drinks on lock.
The name alone should
Yeah.
let you know that Sonic.
I thought DQ would be up there in the list too.
But
Dairy
it's
Queen.
mainly I. Okay,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
more dairy.
But Dairy Queen kind of fell off, didn't it? Like it's not as popular as it used to be back in the day.
It's still
Yeah.
pretty popular in PA at least. I have two, in about what is it, 5-10 miles, Mariana? One in
Yeah, one in Marshall's Creek,
Marshall's Creek and
not
one in
far.
Townsville.
Yeah, and one in Tannersville.
They're
So
about
yeah,
10 minutes from each other.
Mm.
yeah.
So it tells you right there. But they're so I'm going to disagree with what you said. They're trying to keep up with Starbucks, Panera. Because Panera's I don't think they're. See, Starbucks is more a coffee shop. I will never eat
All
the food
these.
there because everybody who eats the food gets food
Coffee
poisoning from there.
now. Coffee now. You did Starbucks just coffee? Oh no, they overreaching.
Why you say that?
When first Starbucks first started was mostly coffee. Now they're doing the extra more everything. They're offering you muffin, they offer you all type of breakfast, meals, stuff like that to go with it. And
But it's
depending
not
on the
made
location, you find them.
fresh. That's the thing, dude. Panera is more for the sandwiches. Like they're known for the fresh, low
And
calorie
you are
food.
correct. And you are correct.
Sandwiches and
But if
soups.
you look at the setup in Manhattan, based on who try and get the most turf, it's Panera versus Starbucks.
Yeah, because Starbucks is on a fucking growth spend right now. Like we
Yeah.
have literally in where I live. I don't know if you've seen it, Mariana. Another one
Yeah, I
is
did see it. I was surprised. Another one just built in. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And we have not. I have another one not far from where I live. So
yeah.
it's
So one's
it's
on
all over
Main
the
Street and
place.
one is in 9th Street. It's literally not even more than 5 minutes. The only thing I think of the contract of the building is expiring. That's why they're building another one. I doubt it, to be honest with you, because the traffic on Starbucks is so bad. And be another most like the same thing with Burger King. The same owner of Burger King had one on 9th Street and Main Street.
Hmm.
And it's literally, I'm not, David,
Yeah.
I'm joking. You can walk from two of them from my house. It might take you 15 minutes to walk from one to the other, but they're so close.
Little jumbo juice.
I remember hearing about it, never went to it.
No,
That's
I've
going to be
never
like
been
a
there.
smoothie shop. And at first, I thought they were healthy stuff until I started to notice the difference. Because here, before Jamba Juice came to existence, that's going to be a turf to the Jamaicans. But they're the one that do all a lot of smoothie. They give you like the wheatgrass shot whatsoever, etc. Jamba
Hmm.
Juice more like the commercial version of that heavy in Manhattan. Now, like I say, the authentic taste of it. Jamba Juice is so commercial. If you're not careful, you can almost tell you're not actually getting the real smoothie taste compared to when you go to the Jamaican in Brooklyn or somewhere in Queens. Well, when I make
Okay.
real smoothie, you can actually take the authenticity in the taste of it. What you see in Manhattan right now is a saturated of commercialized version of what you're used to in your own neighborhood with extra
Hmm.
added hidden ingredients. So Jamba Juice will be the one that will beat McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks when it comes to sweet drinks. If you're not, they're supposed to be the healthy selection, but if you're not paying attention to it,
Hmm.
and you just kind of like, oh, look what I need. I did that until I started to have to pay notice because one, if something healthy, it will not make you gain weight if you're constantly busy.
Does
It will
it
not
still
make you feel
exist?
bloated.
All right,
Jamba Juice?
David, I want to get back
Yeah,
on track. I don't want to go to the overweight, depressing stuff. There's the hangout. Remember that. You
I
keep
know
going
the
to the
hangout.
Spartan arena.
No,
But you
but
keep going,
it
but
ties to
hang on,
no,
David. Hang on. Let me finish my sentence, please. You keep going, gain fat and going in circuit, and we're going to the depressing stuff. I don't want to talk about the depressing stuff. I'll let you guys
I
have a
understand.
moment. Let's stick to the fun stuff.
Okay,
Like which franchise is better than the other stuff. This is the point of this show tonight. Is to talk
you're right.
about
You're right. You're right.
which fast food is better than the other, and we keep going back to it, and I'm keep ruining you guys back.
I'm
like I
sorry,
just got an email from Paul, like this is kind of depressing tonight, and he's right.
you're right. But I'm sorry about that because
You're fine.
in fast food, I always try to find the right one that's good for me and that's safe for me. When I'm out in New York City and I'm doing the type of heavy jobs, I want to make sure that it's not giving me a crash, which is why I like to stay away from donut because donut can be a pastime thing for me. And I don't do Krispy Kreme too much. I'm more onto Dunkin' Donut, which I grew up in that, which is sad to say.
Oh, those are
Ah,
fighting words on this panel. Those are
that's
fucking
I
so
grew up,
nice.
no, Dunkin' Donut was the mainstay for anyone who back in the 80s.
okay. So
Krispy
yes,
Kreme,
I'll give you that much.
Krispy Kreme, we
Dunkin'
put up the
Donuts,
invader.
Dunkin' Donuts, it is a franchise that was all over America in between the '90s to now. All right,
Hmm.
but if you they changed the name now, it used to be Dunkin' Donuts. Now it's called Dunkin' only because of the other thing. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm gonna piss off my little buddy Eric. Because he
I
thinks Krispy Kreme is literally sugar crack, it has no flavor. I think Krispy Kreme donuts are the most flavorful, juiciest donuts ever, and that's the only place they make them fresh at location. Yeah. So this is how you know they're fresh. When you're driving by, walking by, horsebacking by, freaking flying by, whatever kind of by you do. If you see that Krispy Kreme light lit up in the window, that means they're freshly made.
mm,
I think that was Tim Horton. I've been to one
I
too with
rather
Tim
prefer
Horton.
Twin Donuts from New York. I
What
remember
about Duck
those.
Donuts?
Which
Duck Donuts.
Duck Donuts? That's what they
Yeah,
call?
that's another franchise. Okay, so they're actually
Okay.
pretty cool in franchise. I like them actually. They actually,
Okay.
you know what Giant is by us?
Yes.
Not that one by you. I mean the other one by
Yeah. The other
Brown
one.
Head Stroke. Okay, on
Yeah.
611. Okay, right next to it is a natural pet store. Next to the pet store is a
Okay.
Duck Donuts. Now,
Really?
yeah,
Hmm.
hang on, because I'll tell you how much I go.
You had a similar twin donut.
Duck
I
Donuts.
remember Twin Donuts. I remember. I grew
Yeah.
up with that.
So
I
here's an
remember.
interesting about Duck Donuts. All right, they
Okay.
have all these incredible flavors from Krispy Kreme to not Krispy Kreme, glazed donut to a I'm trying to name it
Boston cream.
chocolate. They have Boston cream. They have them all. Any flavor you can
Okay.
think of, they
Okay.
have. They're small. They're about like this big, right?
Okay.
They're about $1 a piece, I think, something like that.
Okay.
But they make them on the spot as you order them.
Oh, really?
They top them right there. Like you say, you want a cookie and cream,
Yeah.
you're right there. Boom. You want a chocolate heaven. There's one that's called like that. They put everything on there. It's the most delicious donut ever. That is my second favorite from Krispy Kreme. Yes, Eric, I said Krispy Kreme is better than anything out there.
Hmm.
So it's. I'll put it this way: if I had to pick a Krispy Kreme over a Duck Donuts, that's gonna be a hard pick. I might have to go to both of them. So when I go to Scranton, that's the only one closest to us, at least, Mariana.
Mm-hmm.
Is Krispy Kreme is the only one closest. That's why I like going to Duck Donuts because that's in our area.
Yeah.
But when I'm in Scranton, I will pick up 2 dozen
Okay.
if they make them home. That is, they usually don't make it home all the way. I'm
Ugh.
like, hey, Krispy Kreme donuts are good. You can't. You guys are gonna argue Krispy Kreme donuts are not good.
I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm not gonna argue with that.
Okay,
But now
David, if you,
yeah.
I'll put it this way. You remember me and you, Paul, met at the train station, the Amtrak station in Madison Square
Mm-hmm.
Garden? They have a Krispy
Mm-hmm.
Kreme there. I recommend
Yeah,
you
they
go
do.
in there and then wait till they're fresh and ask them when other fresh runs coming out and literally buy it 1 dozen, about $5. I'll send you the money if you need me to, and you will not put the whole box down. You're gonna eat it in one sip. It
Because
has to be
here's the
an
thing,
original
I
recipe.
tasted Krispy Kreme. I tasted Dunkin' Donut. I thought Tim Hortons donut is better.
Which one?
What's it
Tim
called?
Horton, I think Tim Horton done it. Tim Horton, not the one I've seen the symbol on the right hand side next to the chocolate donut. The Tim Horton, I thought that one is better.
Oh, I see. I have never been to that one. To be honest with you, I've never been to that one, so I can't argue on taste factor or fast food donut. We already talking about fast food donuts. Anyway,
I mean, it still
but,
comes
It is
with
fast food.
It's
but I
still.
have never
It
been
is
to
fast
Tim
food.
Hortons donut. I never been to that one, so I can't sit there and tell you, yeah, I've been to that one because I haven't.
Yeah.
Because I know they
I,
have a few select locations, but it's hard to find them. 'Cause like I said, I used to be a fat kid. I was a fat kid back in the days.
was
Dunkin' Donuts. Want to start right now,
yeah,
fat
that's
boy?
too easy for me.
Anyway, before I was interrupted by a fat boy here, I've tasted Dunkin' Donuts of all flavors.
Hmm.
I've tasted multiple flavors for Christmas in both in New York and Philadelphia. When I
Okay.
tasted Tim Horton, I got thrown off. I was like, hold up. Knowing
All right,
you
guys,
like
hang on a
to
second. Let's get this
flavor
guy
your
in here.
taste.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
please rise for our president. Mr. President, welcome.
Thank you.
What's going on, my man? How are
When
you
I
tonight?
I'm pretty good. Hanging out with the wife. We went out to. I know the topic tonight was supposed to be about fast food,
Yeah, I gotta get.
but we went to a nice restaurant, listened some good jazz music and whatnot. Just kind of reconnecting. The good news, I'm home for the week, so certainly I won't be flying out Sunday evening. But yeah, spent some good time with the wife, connecting. Spent the day earlier with a nephew of mine, and we try to get together once a year. Went to a nice Peruvian restaurant that was very good earlier for lunch. So yeah, so a lot of dining out today, but spending good time with people who I needed to connect with, and yeah, so things were pretty good. But
So that means you're gonna be on all the streams this week. Great.
I should be, yeah, I should be,
I'm being
pretty clear.
selfish there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was selfish. I apologize.
but everything is good. But yeah, but I thought we were talking about franchises and franchise wars and what's better than this and that or whatever.
Yeah,
This was kind of a depressing show. I mean, it's
you
like,
heard me
look,
yell at David earlier about it.
nobody in their right mind. Okay, me as someone who has concern for health and whatnot, no one recommends that anybody eats any of this stuff on a regular basis. It should be an occasional indulgence, but when you indulge. It's okay to enjoy. I mean, one thing I hate is when people just come up and say, "Oh, that stuff will kill you. This is bad. This is this, that, and third, or whatever." Look, all this stuff is bad for you.
Mhm.
But again, I have an 80% rule: eat well, eat
Mhm.
healthy 80% of the time. The other 20% of the time, eat whatever you pleasure. I believe in balance. I believe in breaking bread with people and not always concerned. The worst thing is being at Thanksgiving dinner and everybody's complaining about the contents of what's in the food, or the vegan gospel that if you're eating anything that's living, you're either destroying the planet or something like that. I mean, they're just not fun to be around. So I thought tonight's topic would be, okay, for the occasional indulgence. Do you like McDonald's fries, or do you like Wendy's fries, or do you like some other waffle fries or something? If you like burgers, or the times you may eat a burger maybe once a month, but if you eat a burger, which burger are you eating? So again,
That was the original
this
plan.
is not a dietary prescription for life. But I
Mhm.
thought we was going to
I
have
get
some
it.
fun with this tonight, and
I
everybody
get it.
wants to be just a stiffly stifferson and just make it like bad for every. Or, which I was also fearful of tonight, we were supposed to talk about the franchises,
Mhm.
and on cue, everybody talks about some local bistro or some local place where they get their food at or whatever. That's so much better than the franchises. Well, yeah, it kind of is. Franchise model is a lot different. Franchise model has been on mass production of foods and whatnot and service and get you in and out of there and whatnot. If I'm going to go to a nice place that's going to make my burger fresh and pat it down and put all the nice stuff on it and all that, yeah, I expect that to be better.
Mhm.
So again, guys, again, and you might be the healthiest person in the world. You don't drink iced coffee. You know, I kind of got a little bit on that conversation and whatnot. Oh, it's just sugar and water, and it'll okay.
And this is why I yelled at David earlier, because I'm getting to the point, like, you're right. And no offense, David, but you started that tonight.
It's just, I mean,
I'm a part of.
you should be the healthy. Then you should be the.
I
You
know.
should be the health. You should live to 120, David, because you're the healthiest guy here.
Before he came up here, I was trying to mention how the Tim Jordan Dunkin' tastes so authentic that I was loving it. I was mad that there's not a lot of locations for, because when it comes to donuts, as a fat kid, I was used to the sugary taste. But it wouldn't feel the authentic in the donut. When I take Tim Jordan donut, I was like, what is this? It had a different flavor, have different taste, but it felt like home. Like it's a real donut to me.
hmm
That was Tim Horton donut.
Yeah, that was
No,
they're Canadian franchise, right? Or they, I think
no
Tim Hortons
wonder.
mostly started
I'm
in
a
Canada.
Canadian. Maybe that's why. I'm a Canadian.
Yeah, I think Tim Hortons like a Canadian, and I think they might have expanded to the U.S. in certain spots
Yeah.
or whatever. But I think that's a
I
Canadian
haven't
brand.
really seen him around, Paul, to be honest with you. But, you know, when after you went on your way, David, and me and Paul were alone, I looked at him and go, yo, Krispy Kreme. He goes, okay, what's the big deal? Like, oh, Eric's favorite place. Like, no, it's not. Like, that's
No, it's
the
not.
point. We went over there. We took a picture. We sent it to him just to piss him off. And I get my phone blown up. He goes, you son of a bitch. And like, this is anti-Americana, all this stuff. He was going off on me. I
Mm.
didn't remember exactly what he said, but like, God damn, dude, is that not a big a deal? But to Eric, Krispy Kreme is like the poison of the devil.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of a lot of foodies get very again. It's almost like a religious type of experience when it comes to their foods. It's like the same thing with the Coke and Pepsi debate, right? You got some people you think you're drinking you poison if you drink Pepsi or Coke or vice versa. I'm like, guys, first of all, again, I wouldn't recommend that you drink a lot of that stuff on a regular basis.
I
But
agree.
it's okay to have your favorite if you are going to indulge in one. You know, it is okay. The body can certainly handle a
I
lot.
prefer.
But if you want to eat, if you want to drink lemon water and grass and soy for the rest of your life, be my guest. Go ahead. But I
Me, I
mean,
prefer. I prefer Subway. Subway is like my favorite choice in case I want to get a good meal before I work out or after. I don't know. I'm faithful to Subway. That's just me.
okay.
I thought Subway's kind of going out of business at this point because Panera is actually
No,
taking over their territory.
I think it's
Are
Jersey
they?
Mike's.
Jersey
So,
Mike's
Mike,
is
that's
huge.
another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's just sold actually. I think for like $11 billion. I mean,
Where to who?
I think the I know the original shop opened up obviously in New Jersey near the show I
Jersey
think down
Mike's,
in Red Bank, and it just kept growing. So again, you know, a few sales over the years, but I think it was something like $11 billion. They just sold for recently. They just sold the brand. So even the Rutgers Stadium is
Wow.
Jersey Mike Stadium out here. So I had no idea, you know, they got as big as they did, but you know, again, kudos to them. They built a, you know, very successful business model that, you know, obviously resulted in a very successful and notable brand, even though it may not be across the country. But I know when I spent some time in the South, I did see a Jersey Mike's certainly in the South, as well as some other franchise brands down there, like Crystal, for example, is essentially the White Castle of the South, if you will. You know, kind of similar concept in terms of the
Question for you,
burgers and
Paul.
whatnot. Yeah.
Did you see any In-N-Out burgers when you were down there?
I did not in the area. I mean, you're in Tifton. Tifton, basically, all they have is restaurants down there. Fast food. They got 3 Waffle Houses within a 3-mile radius. They got McDonald's. They got BK. You know, a lot
So
of them.
everything we have here.
Yeah, I want to say they had a Five Guys. I think down there, but an In-N-Out, I don't think I saw. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did. But again,
So
it's like the only thing to do in that area is to eat, and they got every they got Olive Garden, they got every franchise you can think of down there, Starbucks, you name it.
3 things really fast, guys. So when it comes to sandwiches, you have Starbucks, you have Jersey Mike's, and you have Panera Bread. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, Subway is literally not on the list anymore. At my point,
Yeah.
because you think about it, David. You could go to Jersey Mike's, that slice it fresh. Subway does not slice their meat fresh. The only thing they bake the bread first. That's the only thing they do.
Yeah, you
Everything
break the
comes
bread.
pre-sliced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing's fresh in Subway anymore. Nothing.
Well, I don't think I heard it
Portions are
was. I
small.
mean, I'm
I'm
gonna go
sorry?
back a few. I don't know if they ever sliced in
Never,
Subway.
never.
Mm.
Because I know people who work there. Now,
Mhm.
Jersey Mike's, you watch them slice it for you right on the spot.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
same concept from Panera Bread. They make everything fresh for you. So that's why I'm gonna bump them up.
And now it's
Now,
popular in Connecticut, I believe.
what is?
But there's a lot of business sector whereby, not like Manhattan, the way they're set up, no, they had a huge campus-like building. Panera is always nearby in no type of, especially in the mall. You see Panera more in the mall than anything else. So that's more popular in Connecticut, right? What's out there.
Yeah.
Now in Manhattan, you have to really search for Panera, to be honest with you.
Where
It
in
don't be
Manhattan?
out there in Manhattan. You got to search for it.
No, I can look it up right now. There's almost 100
No,
of them.
I'm saying when you're out there, when you're in the city looking for Panera, Starbucks stand out. Chipotle stand out more. Total, the rival to Chipotle stand out. But Panera, you have to search for it because somehow as if their sign don't really stick out like other people's signs, and you got to pay attention to it.
That's a different story. That's marketing. That's not really what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about
Okay.
the food, mostly. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So let me ask you. Here's another statement. So CQ has got down to California for surgeries and all that stuff, and he has tried In-N-Out Burger, and he told me I don't see the big hype about it. It reminds him of a Five Guys.
Mhm.
Literally, it's the same concept pretty much.
Yeah. I think their levels. I mean, all those. If you go back to that burger slide, I
Give me
think
1
most
second.
of those. So you kind of got levels, right? Like McDonald's or BK might be one level, but then you have your Five Guys. You got your what's the place that's popular now?
Shake Shack,
Shake Shack and
they
whatnot.
good.
Honestly, and again, maybe this is because of my background, because you understand my background is such where to eat these things, as deadly as they are, these were luxuries for us. To go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger was a luxury because we didn't have any money. So maybe I just kind of look at these things a little bit differently because, again, I don't have the vantage point of, spending $20, $25 on a burger meal, which is what I find with a lot of these places now, especially in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area. I mean, you can go broke, eating out of these places. I mean, when did it happen that, people could start charging what they can for burgers and whatnot? Yeah, I mean, you coming out of there spending $20,
20,
So
close to 60. You're talking about.
well, I'm just saying for per person. I'm just saying,
Okay.
but my point is that you kind of have in recent years. You have the Five Guys, you have the Shake Shacks and whatnot. It's almost considered like premium tier. I remember one time I was at work and I was like, oh, I'm so hungry because I was working hard and I was like, I need to get something to eat. Oh, let me just go to McDonald's. And the way just frowned at me saying McDonald's. And I kind of sneered back and said, I'm sorry, I'm not into the bougie burgers like you are. So them, it's like it's Shake Shack or nothing. I'll say, excuse me, with your bougie boutique burgers, excuse me. But again, in a pinch, if I'm hungry, if I got nothing else, if I got no other options, I'm gonna eat McDonald's. I'm gonna get BK, which is still to this day the most distinctive tasting burger because I think they're the only ones who still flame broil their burgers, so it has a different taste to it
So
because
Burger
of
King
the
actually
process.
has a unique process to cook them. They put them on a track. It has flames.
Yeah,
But they pour it on one side and it goes in the machine
correct.
and it drops it on the other side.
Correct.
When I saw that, it was like very fascinating idea. That was a very smart business move on their end.
Yeah,
So they don't have to teach anybody to cook.
yeah.
But one thing I do want to ask you, Paul, as a trainer now, all right?
Mhm.
Do you remember McDonald's was on this health kick for several years? They had the mixed shakes and all this. I mean, not mixed salads and all that stuff. They shrunk down the portion.
First of all, I used to work. I worked at a McDonald's for 4 years in the 80s, and certainly salads was a thing. Again, trying to reach out to other markets and whatnot. I don't think they really do the salad thing anymore. I think they just went back. In fact, yeah. I think a lot of these brands I think almost to their detriment, tried to go out and tried to get other, I guess, to grow their markets. They try to pull in other audiences. So burger places started being known for salads and whatnot. And it's like, wait a minute, this is what happened to the burgers. It's almost like what happened to Dunkin' Donuts. If you notice, I think they took donuts out of their name.
They did. It's Dunkin' now.
Because I guess they realized that they can make more money with their smoothies and shakes and iced coffees and things like that than donuts. Donuts is almost like an afterthought at this point. So, but I think McDonald's, I think that might have been the decision that, you know what, we need to kind of get back to our roots and bring back the stuff that when people remembered when we were good. I think that's why they brought the McRib sandwich back, which I love, by the way. Again, a lot of people may think it's it's sinful food, but I love the McRib when it was out. So they brought that. I had a McRib sandwich in almost 20 years, and when they came out, I got two of them, and I just house those things. But in any event,
does it taste like it was back in the day, or did it change the recipe?
I don't know. I'm not that picky. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you gave me any one of these burgers, I'm gonna bless the burger. I'm gonna eat it, and more than likely, I'm gonna enjoy it. I never had a burger. I never had anything that I had that was just so off. The difference between a quarter pounder with cheese and a Five Guys or whatever was so dramatic. That's like, oh, I can't eat this. I'm like, are you serious? So I never on any given day in any different situation, I'll eat gladly any one of these burgers. You know, if you were gonna ask me which is the best, I don't know if I can answer that. I mean, I think Shake Shack makes a pretty good burger, but sometimes, and I think the guy was on early, I think he was talking about that. Yeah, maybe sometimes you just get a taste for something. Like sometimes you get a taste of some White Castle. You know what I mean? Like you think if you have a choice, oh, you know what? I hadn't had White Castle in a while. Let me go over there and get that. And so you'll go and get that. It's not to say that everything else is bad, but it's to say that, you know, again, opportunity, distance, the drive to get there, what you feel like at that particular time, all those things matter. Again, would I eat this stuff every day? Heck no. Even though there was a point in my life I did eat this every day, because I said I worked there for 4 years. I had McDonald's every day. And the crazy thing about it, I never gained a pound. So I was
bastard.
So it wasn't, I just had that metabolism at the time where I could eat anything that I wanted and never gained any weight until I really got serious into weightlifting. And obviously I got older and my metabolism changed. But certainly growing up, you could eat that stuff, chicken nuggets, all that stuff all day long. And it never affected me any I never had any detrimental health effects from it.
I want to ask you a question here, David, Paul. This is a trend going on with chicken sandwich lately. Is Chick-fil-A is like the biggest hype by now. I don't see the big deal about it. I think it just.
I don't either. Now again, like I said, the work site that I'm at now, again, Chick-fil-A is very popular in the South. I think it started in the South. They still have, I think it's a private organization for the most part, and they have rules. I mean, they're not open on Sundays.
They're religious.
They got very religious in terms of how they operate things. I've had them. They're okay, but it's just a chicken patty with a pickle, and that's basically it. If you want some of their special sauce, which is really no different than mac sauce, in my view, some people will call that sacrilegious, but in my view, again, I see very little distinction between the two. So yeah, but everybody swears by it like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. For me,
if I had to pick a chicken sandwich, I'll be honest with you, I would go a Wendy's spicy chicken. That's my go-to chicken if I have the chicken sandwich. And
honestly,
go any of the other ones like Burger King, KFC, Curls, White Castle, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Popeyes. They're just plain chicken.
Honestly, I'm taking KFC, and the reason I'm taking KFC is because it's the biggest sandwich. Like if you talk about the size of the patty, I'm all about the protein, bro. So I'm like, what sandwich is going to give me the most protein for the buck?
Yeah.
So again, the KFC sandwich is going to be the biggest relative to the size of the bun. Some of these, like I said, the Chick-fil-A sandwich, the bun is bigger than the chicken. On a KFC sandwich, you see how it's sticking out. The sandwich, the fillet is bigger than the bun. I would rather have that, getting more value from it, than the Chick-fil-A. But again, some people you develop these sort of tastes.
I'll give you another one.
These loyalties.
KFC over Popeyes. I'll pick up KFC. Personally, is because I have Popeyes.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you again.
Oh, sorry, guys. I apologize.
One for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Ghost. There you
Yeah. So I would. Reason I don't like Popeyes is a lot of breading on Popeyes chicken.
go. Mhm.
I think it's mostly bread than chicken on Popeyes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being picky here.
Right.
And
You
that's
can
me.
certainly get the now. A lot of these places they do have the grilled option, so you can certainly go for that. And I'll definitely do a lot to distinguish. But I don't think Popeyes offers a grilled option. I don't think, but I think KFC does. I
Mhm.
think I think McDonald's does. So some of these you can get the grilled.
Wendy
Wendy's I
does
know
too.
does. So yeah, so you can certainly opt for that if you if you don't need or don't want the extra breading, you can certainly go for one of those. You definitely one of those options. But yeah, who's going to give me the most chicken? If you would have give me any one of these, and maybe the White Castle, because the White Castle it's so small. I think it's a cutlet. I don't think it's chicken. You know what I mean? That's just me. Like if you would have literally cut it open and you look at it, is there chicken breast there? It's just like the nuggets, right? I mean, is there literally chicken in there, or is just mostly just breading? And so for me, that's another reason I would go with again some of the larger sandwich options, because again, when you cut into it, you can tell, which has the breading, which doesn't, and you're getting certain things that you may not need from it.
My point of view comes to chicken sandwich. Due to location, I would prefer Wendy's. If I want to go a little further out there, I'll go with Chick-fil-A. The one that's overrated was the Popeye chicken due to the chicken seven phenomenon did a couple of years back.
Yes,
We
yes.
were
So they
killing us
just
up
that
with
that
chicken.
that was
That was overrated.
one of the greatest social media successes of all time because they spread like wildfire. I mean,
And
I
it
had
goes
never
back to
seen.
what I was saying before. It just is a trend. A lot of these fast food joints go to trend. Remember, Papa John's was the biggest trend for pizzerias for fast food pizzeria.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
At one
this guy
point,
didn't. I'm sorry.
at one point, until the owner did something very
I
stupid.
was about to say that before
Yeah.
the owner opened, it made some racist comments, and they literally he has fallen from grace. They're
Yeah.
still around. They're
Yeah,
having
Shaquille
Oh.
O'Neal owns like 40 of them.
does it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
Shaquille
didn't know
Shaq.
that.
Yeah, he owns quite a number of. In fact, if you look up, he's been in some commercials. So I mean, yeah, so he's definitely a major stakeholder in Papa John's. So
I didn't know that.
And here's
yeah.
what I learned: not all Papa John tastes the same. To me, the best tasting Papa John pizza is in Orlando, Florida.
Mm.
In my view,
Yeah.
One thing
But I
do
got
know
to I got to just go back to the chicken sandwich thing, because KFC at one time they had the ultimate chicken sandwich. It was the chicken sandwich with no bread. The bread was basically two pieces of chicken breast, and they had the fixings and the lettuce and everything in the middle. So it was like if you were into keto, it was like the ultimate. If you wanted like 80,
And
90 grams of protein, that was the greatest chicken sandwich ever made. Was that KFC with the bread, the bunless KFC sandwich that they had.
if you
Two,
were a
I'm
two.
gonna raise
musclehead,
one on you. I'm gonna raise one. One thing
Okay.
I used to live off when I was a mechanic was the smash balls from KFC.
Mm,
For $10, you used to get mashed potatoes, corn, gravy, chicken. It was literally a smash
yeah,
ball.
yeah.
They still have, but that's what I lived on as a mechanic because time is money as a mechanic. Because
Mhm.
you're flat rate. So I was like, bite down, wrench, bite down, wrench. So that was convenient at the time because
Yeah.
as a mechanic, your hands get very disgusting. Let's be
Well,
honest here.
Paul is correct. That ultimate chicken sandwich from KFC,
Man,
chicken breast. If you want
on
meathead,
on training day,
if you
post
a
workout,
meathead,
you were running to get that. And some guys are crazy enough to eat 2 or 3 of those guys at the same time.
well,
So
maximum will be 4.
yeah,
Bro, remember
Minimum.
Arnold used to go to McDonald's or whatever and he was fucking put down like 5-6 burgers for the protein
Mhm.
And
when they were
also,
big. Not these
and
little.
also Cinco did the same exact thing during his football career. He said he
Oh
did
yeah,
that all the time.
that's a. And honestly, I kind of again, I don't have the scientific to back this up or whatever, but I do give some credibility to what he said, because it's interesting that you have today a lot of these athletes. They have private chefs. They're eating healthier than ever. They eat their green smoothies. A lot of these guys go vegan or cut out red meat and all this kind of stuff, and yet they're still getting injured on a regular basis. I think there's something about these foods that are very nutrient dense. Now, you may get some stuff that you don't need, but I know bodybuilders who swore by post workout they would go to McDonald's and get 3 or 4 double cheeseburgers, something like that, and they say they grew like weeds. But when they start dieting down, when they start eating the chicken breasts and the white rice and the broccoli plain, they just lose all their strength. They lose all the weight. So I don't know if they're pumping what they're pumping those cows with, or whatever it is. But a lot of these guys swore there was an anabolic effect to eating that food, especially post workout. And so so yeah, I'll certainly give some credence to eating a very nutrient dense, which these foods are, compared to the quote unquote healthy foods. I think there are some benefits, especially if you're an athlete, especially if you are, for a specific time in your life. Like I said, I would never recommend this stuff that you eat this for 50 years. But what I'm saying
So
is for that window of time when you are trying to be as hard and as durable and muscular and dense as possible, then I got to give some credence to what Chad Ochocinco was saying, because a lot of these athletes now, it's like there should be no reason why these guys getting injuries all the time, and you
I
see it
go
all
back to
over the
what I
place
always
despite
say.
them being healthy.
Yeah, and Mario, back me up if you just really jump in any moment. It's
Okay.
all the steroids they pop into this shit as a chef, and as
Yeah.
Mario, her chef herself, it's these
Mhm.
steroids they pump into this meat. It's
Yeah.
like the turkeys, for example. No way natural turkey can give you
That 30-pound turkey, 35 pounds.
I'm looking
Um,
at 30 pound, 50 pound turkey. I'm like, that's nearly impossible
Ladies
in
and
a
gentlemen,
Yeah. They
the
don't look
turkey that you be
natural.
seeing all these days are Debo turkey. They're like bouncer turkey,
Yeah.
turkey that bounce the chef
Yeah.
out the kitchen turkey.
Now
like
that
I'll put
being
it this
said,
way.
Pete, I know we've talked about organic versus non-organic food. And I know you said it's mostly a myth, but I will say that when it comes to the meat, now the vegetables, that one I can
Mm.
be flexible on. But it seems like any of the organic meats generally are smaller. The chicken,
Yeah.
the birds themselves, they're not as big.
But
So
again, they
is that
evolve.
healthier though?
Yeah, it might be healthier and whatever, but we don't know for a fact it is is organic. They came and say, okay, we're not raising the cow as big, and it could be a mind thing at that point.
Mhm.
Tap.
But
Yeah.
let's start getting our final thoughts and start getting out of here. Let's go, David, Mariana, and Paul.
Final thought. This is my selection. When it comes to sandwich, I stick with Subway. When it comes to chicken sandwich, I stick with either Wendy's with a red hair, no blue hair, red hair, get that straight, or Chick-fil-A. When it
Sorry.
comes to burger, I stick with my Shake Shack. And when I got a problem with that, we go fight. When it comes to French fries, I had to stick with Riley. They got the best French fries, hand down. I'm sorry. McDonald, y'all lost that fight a long time ago. Okay? That's my final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I will say the foods that you grew up with, the foods that I was growing up with, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC. But bottom line is, it's something you just enjoy it, once in a while, not to very every day. This is like it's basically, it's like, I will say, all this is like part of the American culture. I will say, if that, I can imagine how it doesn't exist. It's something that we had to embrace, and we had to appreciate that. um it's something that it's like comfort. Like, let's say, okay, it's end of the week, I'm gonna have this. It's to enjoy. It's not something, don't feel guilty about it. Just, it's food. It's been there. It has a history in all these franchises. So it's something that, of course, don't go to, not gonna go every day. Just something to treat yourself, like, like, it's basically like, I treat myself, or whatever the case is, whatever occasion is. But it's something, that we enjoy it. We grew up with it, and we're still enjoying it as grown adults. So And we always gonna say, oh, this is the best, this is the best burger, this is the best whatever. It could be everybody have different choices. So that's my final thought.
As I said earlier, I certainly think the occasional indulgence, or when you don't have options. Again, I've spent a lot of time obviously on the road, and sometimes you find yourselves in situations when you want to go for a healthier option or what have you, but either the place closed early or whatever. You're asking yourself at midnight, what's open? Oh, Wendy's is open, so I'm going to go to Wendy's and I'm going to get something and be satisfied with it. So I think that obviously franchising in general is certainly a very American type of institution. It's led to a lot of business growth and business development throughout. Like I said, when I'm in the South, I see them all over the place, all kinds of eateries and whatnot. And certainly, so franchising is certainly something that has. If you ever want to watch I guess a documentary. Watched The Founder. Basically, it's like the story of McDonald's and Ray Kroc, how he basically essentially scammed the McDonald's brothers out of their business, paid them pennies on the dollar for their business, and became a billionaire on top of that. But certainly it doesn't make the guy look very good. But it definitely gives you an insight into franchising and how franchising, certainly as a business, only passed congressional vote because people were saying like, is this an illegal kind of practice or what have you? And I think it passed by very few votes in Congress. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a McDonald's as we know it. It might still be with the McDonald's brothers or what have you, but you wouldn't have this industry as you know it today. So certainly, as a business model, it has certainly done a lot. And it's interesting in today's market when you talk about the rideshare services and whatnot, how those have undergone some scrutiny from Congress in terms of whether those are legit businesses or not, the way they compensate people. I find that all pretty interesting. But generally, though, when it comes to fast food, yes, I grew up on it. Like I said, when I was growing up until I became a teenager and started working there, that was, like I said, a luxury to get a McDonald's cheeseburger. The hamburger you had at home was basically the ones that I think Eddie Murphy talked about, where your mom's putting onions and peppers in it, and you're eating it with white bread. So, and again, white bread was your hot dog roll. It was your hamburger bun, and it just served all these different purposes for you. And that would be your burger. So when they said we're going to BK or whatever, everybody just went nuts. It's like, yeah, you thought you were treating yourself. So again, but as you get older, as you start thinking about things a little bit differently, as you start to eat healthier, yes, eat healthier. Yes, cut out the sugars and cut out the the saturated fats, the trans fats, and things like that nature. Keep those out on a regular basis, but every once in a while, if you're doing the right things most of the time, an occasional indulgence is not going to kill you. So again, everything in moderation, proper perspective. Enjoy your foods. Be thankful that you're in a position that you have money to buy these things, and just have a good time. But then make sure on Monday morning you get back on your diet and you get back to doing the right things that you need to do. Okay, eat well, get plenty of rest, train, exercise, plenty of water. You're doing that most of the time, you'll be fine. That's all I got.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming up. Let me get David back in here. I'm sorry, David, missed you there. So really fast, a quick schedule and two quick announcements. So tomorrow we are having a gray area and we're speaking about music tomorrow. And on Tuesday will be Man of Man, legend, leader, and icon. David and Wally are be talking about the Afro Samurai. And you guys are still have only a list on Gen X training. So
we're gonna be. I think we're gonna go into a financial area. So again, I'll give you some updates on that. So
and next week, I'm actually looking forward to this show because this is one of my favorite things to talk about wrestling is entertainment, entry music. Who has the best one? That's gonna be an argument and a half. But here's my two quick announcements, guys, so everybody be aware of what's going to be happening with the channel. And we have a little tweaking going on because of my work schedule change. I'll be working AMs now. So not this week, but next week, the Sparta Arena and the Hangout, and maybe the Gravy, I'm not sure yet, will be going to 8:30. And like an hour up, nothing big deal, not much. And here's a second announcement. And I forgot to mention this on Monday's meeting, guys. I do apologize. Me and King Smith are going to have a special edition show on the 29th, talking about something that I went through. And I shared this very publicly, is why love turns into violence, comfort, physical abuse. We will be streaming on both platforms, on this platform and on the actual King Smith's platform. So be aware of that, guys. I'm actually looking forward to that conversation, because when I was on vacation visiting him, we were actually talking about this. He goes, I should do a show. I go, hey, why not use me as your guinea pig? I worked through this. He goes, great idea. Let's do it together. And that's where the show came up. So not sure I'm going to keep it at 9:30, 8:30. I got to see how my schedule works because that'll be my first week at the new location I'm getting transferred to and everything. So, except that, Mariana, final words?
No, I'm good.
Paul? David? I'm going to push the button.
I'm trying to think of what food or drink I missed the most in franchise. That's what I'm trying to think. But when I was working in Manhattan a lot, I can tell. I'm very faithful to my stomach.
No
Disrespect my
shit.
stomach.
Anyway,
Disrespect my stomach. I had to take you out.
before we go, Paul, you met my mom more than anybody on this platform besides Mariana. You think David would survive my mom if he was over here having dinner? You know how she is. I think
well, again, she'll make a lot of food for him, I'm sure. So he'll probably tap out. I know I would tap out after first. Even today, like I just don't have the appetite anymore. So again, I'm like one small plate, medium sized plate, and I'm done. Now I eat 4 or 5 times a day. I can't do them big meals again. Otherwise, I'm passing out, and it's just not a good situation. So So David, if your mom if his mom cooks for you, yeah, you're gonna be comatose after that. That's what thing.
Yeah. So guys, as always, I am the Spartan. She is Mariana. He is Mr. President. He is Baby Groot, aka Little Bear. As always, this is Spartan Institute Network. As always. You done, David, now?
Black Bear.
All right. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.